Like the newscasters.
And back to you, Tyler, with sports.
Well, the weather in Minnesota today, it's cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Hey, that's a good movie.
So
Steve.
when you did the Twitter streets, from the Twitter streets, Doug, I put from our on the boots on the ground correspondent, Doug Eddy.
You got it.
Things are hot in these Twitter streets. This person's getting hyped up all week long. All right,
That would be cool.
We'll give it a 3-second pause, and then I will jump into it.
Oh shit!
Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. It is the return of Corey. Hello, Corey. How are you?
Not too bad. How everybody? Thank you, Doug and Tyler, of course, for the
Absolutely.
even weeks.
Tyler is back. James is taking a week off. He needed some me time. He's had a lot of personal stuff going on, and he needed a little bit of a breather. So he's getting a breather because you know what? It's all about family and stuff first. Fantasy football second. For us, I know for you sycophants that are listening at home, you're all fantasy football all the time. And that's cool, too. We are here for you. It's been a crazy week. We had some overtime games. We had some pretty notable injuries in this week, and that's not good. If you're a fan of running backs this year, it's already been bad. It's about to get worse. Not great. But before we get into all of that stuff, I wanted to let you know that we are brought to you once again by our friends at manscaped.com, the best in men's grooming. If you're looking for the perfect tool to tailor your jewels, it's all about manscaping. Not only will you look great, you'll feel fresh, you'll smell great. You're going to have the tools to do your nose and your ears. You're just going to look great. Maybe you got a date that you're going on. You want to make a good first impression. You're trying to get lucky on that first date. Guess what? You can totally do that if you use Manscaped. So go on manscaped.com today. Use code DHH for 20% off. You're going to get the Lawnmower 4.0 with the wireless charger, the Weed Whacker, which is your nose and ear trimmer, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Cleanser, the Crop Reviver. Oh, yeah, it is going to get funky when you use that Manscaper. Code DHH for 20% off. Manscaped.com today. All right. Let's get into some of this injury news, and then we're just gonna talk shop, the three of us, and it's gonna be we're not doing game by game. We're just gonna talk about football, mix it up a little bit, trying to find our groove here during the season. You know, Dynasty is always a challenge during the season. The off season is easy to talk about, right? I love the off season in Dynasty more than I love in season, which may sound weird, but I think a lot of people are nodding their heads and being like, I totally get it. But let's talk some injuries first. So we've had some running back injuries. It's not first on the show sheet, but it's first for me. Javonte Williams apparently suffering a major knee injury. He was seen on crutches after the game. This is in the third quarter that he hurt himself against the Raiders. No news about the severity, but we have heard things trickle out in the Twitter streets about it being a possible severe knee injury. Melvin Gordon fumbled this week. He ended with, I think, negative points on the week or something like that. Or did he? Yeah, he ended up with negative points. But Mike Boone, the Minnesota Viking preseason legend. I've always liked Mike Boone. He's always been on my deep dynasty rosters. He filled in for the most part for Javonte. So obviously a name to grab if he's available in your dynasty leagues. Obviously we want to wait and hear on the news on Javonte. Tyler, you've been close to Mike Boone in the past because he was a Viking backup and had the juice or the oomph, if you will. So first of all, Javonte going down stinks. He's like the RB3 in Dynasty.
Yeah,
right now in startup.
I mean, this summer he was ahead of Najee by one spot. He was all the hotness ahead of Breece Hall, and even that was.
And they re-signed Melvin, and it cooled a little bit.
It just a little, but I remember there was an episode you were even surprised over the Javonte still over Najee, despite the signing, and that's probably due to age and all the analytical stats of how many broken tackles he has and how good he is in space. Yeah, this stinks. And if it's an ACL, it's really going to diminish his dynasty value.
100%.
It sucks for him as a player because there was a breakout coming soon. But we're here to talk about dynasty value, which kind of sucks in the end. But
the classic Tyler is guy gets hurt, Tyler makes lowball offer.
Oh, 100%.
All right, just checking.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, watch, rinse,
repeat. Of course I do.
Yeah. So this is definitely a buy window. He's still very young. You're still gonna have I feel an elite season, but remember, if it is an ACL, the year following will be kind of a trial by error type season, like we've always seen with a lot of players. So it won't be till the year after next year when we'll see him really fully.
He'll be a ripe old like 24, 25. He'll
Yeah, what an old ass.
Corey, any interest in Mike Boone? He's probably available in most dynasty leagues unless they're like really deep rosters. Again, Tyler, you've seen Mike Boone play, but Corey, are you rushing out in your deeper leagues and trying to acquire Mike Boone?
I mean, no, I'm not, to put it the plain and simple. I mean, if Gordon's going to have these continuous fumble issues, it's going to beg the question, what are the Broncos going to do at the position? So on their practice squad, they have one running back, and that is Divine Ozigbo, the guy that I believe was the Jaguars.
Been everywhere. Yeah, he's been on the Pats too.
Wow.
And the Saints.
But maybe that's a quick 1-2 week guy. Maybe you try to pick up. But I mean, if the Broncos are going to be competing, they're not going to just make it work with Melvin. It begs the question if there's going to be a big trade coming. Not big trade, but you know what I mean? Like,
there's plenty of teams that aren't doing great that could move a piece for sure.
David Montgomery, if he's not too seriously injured, would be interesting.
What about Justin Fields? He's the running back, right?
How many carries did he have today?
7, I think.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
It wasn't a ton. Yeah, it wasn't
not great.
The other big injury, and again, we don't know much about this injury, but it's feared that Jonathan Taylor may have a potential high ankle sprain. And when a running back has a high ankle sprain, it is not good. It's a short week. They play on Thursday. Frank Reich said he's not sure yet. We'll see how things happen tomorrow morning. Kind of ironic. Taylor missed the first practice of his football career this week.
Wow.
And then gets hurt. He had 20 carries in this game. Yeah, he had 20 carries in this game. He couldn't do much of anything. The Colts offense is just not great. But we should see more information available. They're going to get all the proper tests on it. And they go to Denver for Thursday Night Football. So even if Jonathan Taylor was healthy, it's not a great matchup, although the Raiders kind of ran all over Denver, and I'll talk about that later. So Jonathan Taylor, we know Nyheim Hines is the pass catcher. He's obviously not going to be the lead guy there. So Corey, who else is on that roster? Darius Jackson?
Dion.
I just dropped
Dion
in UDPL, right?
You fool!
I mean, I'm cursed. I'm cursed in that league. Who would have thought? I did.
Yeah.
I should have seen it coming.
Dion Jackson, and then they have a practice squad guy, Devontae Price, who I believe is a rookie.
So not much.
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't know, maybe what they're going to try to do offensively, maybe try to get Paris Campbell involved a little more at the line of scrimmage, I'm guessing.
Turn the dust.
Yeah, or they. I mean, there's still some. Maybe they're in the market to make a trade.
Yeah,
are they a good team?
That whole division is wide open. That's the thing. I mean, we'll talk about Derrick Henry coming back.
They just beat the Chiefs last week, and they were down early, but they came back in that game and had shots to win. Pittman had 2 so close, like back-to-back play touchdowns in the end zone.
My question is, if they have to go pass happy, which I would think Frank Reich would be like, okay, we'll run by passing. So Nyheim Hines will get targets like crazy.
Sure.
My question is, will Matt Ryan actually last doing that through the whole season? Because he is an older guy, and the arm will start getting tired throughout the season. Maybe that's the route to go, and then just give Jonathan Taylor 30 carries a game after he comes back.
Yeah. Moving on to another injury, Justice Hill of the Baltimore Ravens left the game with a non-contact injury, which is never good. We all know Justice Hill came off the Achilles injury.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He came off the Achilles injury and looked really great against the Patriots. He was killing the Pats on the ground and had a couple of nice plays in this game. So it could be J.K. Dobbins with a full workload unless Gus Edwards should be coming back soon. So that's an interesting twist. Kenyon Drake's still on the roster. No one cares. But Justice Hill, he was available in some dynasty leagues. I saw people pick him up this week. So we'll have to see what happened with that injury as well, as we'll know more tomorrow. In the Patriots game, the Patriots were already on their QB2 with Brian Hoyer. He got 15 plays into the game. Looks like he suffered a concussion. And then it was the rookie, Bailey Zappi. And the Pats were in that game. They lost in overtime by 3. Zappi was a prodigious college passer at Western Kentucky. In the preseason, I was like, he's just not good. He managed the game okay. He had a wide open Devontae Parker for a touchdown on a play that should have been called back because it was a delay of game penalty, but whatever. So obviously a situation to keep an eye on there. I mean, no one's starting Hoyer or Zappi, let's be honest, in even the deepest of Superflex leagues, unless you're like crazy. Although the Pats do face the Lions this week, so maybe, possibly you. So there was an injury to Hoyer. We've got other injuries here. Isaiah McKenzie and Jamison Crowder were both hurt in week 4. McKenzie was kind of turning into a possible every week flex. Now with both slot guys out, it could leave room for Khalil Shakir, who had some nice plays and is a Matt Waldman favorite. He's been pumping him up quite a bit. And a lot of people like Shakir, had a really good preseason in their camp. Tyler, what do you think about Khalil Shakir possibly, if he gets an opportunity here, does he keep it?
It's just hopes that James Cook can actually catch more passes. I mean,
who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
the person who had one target this week, and they were struggling to get anything done on offense. But you know what? Let's just throw out Zach Moss. So you know what? You guys deserve it.
We can throw Zach Moss out for sure.
You guys deserve everything. Yeah, the thrift shop. Which, by the way, next week we have an amazing new entire format for you guys. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great and informative. But yeah, like Zach Moss, Singletary fumbled, and I'm sitting at home like thinking, hey, this is it. If it was James Cook, he'd be out for life. He'd be done forever. But Singletary fumbled, and he was back in. Their offense struggled. Like, they struggled to get going against Baltimore, which was weird.
Who was giving up a bajillion yards.
Yeah. And so we'll get into that game more. But, yeah, it gives me
that
more
game was
hope.
strange.
Gives me more hope for James Cook for sure. But, yeah, Khalil Shakir will get some playing time. Like, kind of like what Kyle Phillips has been getting every so often with Tennessee.
Sure. And speaking of Tennessee, great transition. Treyland Berks was carted off with a foot injury. Again, we'll have to see what the tests reveal on that. Treyland Berks, kind of the last of the first-round receivers here to break out. And the metrics on Treyland Berks have been very, very good. They're just not using him as much as they should. But if you look at like routes run and things like that, Treyland Berks was in the top 10 in the league, which is awesome. So we all felt like that it's coming. Like there's going to be a Treyland Berks breakout. And it didn't happen this week. He ends up getting broken out in his foot. Hopefully it's not a broken foot. But obviously a situation to monitor there. But my guy, you want to talk about tight ends? Chigakwanko scored. Yes.
Nice.
I saw
the
that.
Fastest tight end at the combine, and I got him free everywhere.
I saw that, and
Mini Delaney Walker is what he is.
I definitely saw that and thought, could be part of the new segment coming next week.
You never know. I'm telling you that Tennessee offense next year with all those young lads is going to be decent. I hope so anyway. And then DK Metcalf got carted off, but apparently it's because he needed to poop. That's the story. He tweeted it out. He's like, I had a turtle head. Questionable return.
I told my wife that, and I said, how awesome would that be? Like, you're just sitting on the couch, like, raise your hand up. Oh, come on.
Take me.
On. Bring in the cart. Cart.
I'm cramping up here. I can't move.
I'm cramping.
She just brings like a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket.
I'm cramping from clinching.
The clinch cramp.
Do more Kegels, DK.
Oh, jeez. We're not going there. So that's it for like the major injuries. I'm sure there's probably some that we haven't hit on, and that's okay. Before we get into our main dish here, the main course, the filet. I almost said the filet of fish. I meant filet mignon. We're more filet of fish though.
Fish burger.
I'll take some McDonald's.
I'll take. You know what? McDonald's is like last for me when it comes to fast food.
I mean, Taco Bell's up top. Taco Bell's up top.
In terms of like burger places, like it's Wendy's, it's Burger King, and then McDonald's. If Burger King's fries were better, I'd be happy.
Burgers are the best.
Oh, they are
100%.
So good.
What?
I like Wendy's the best.
Wendy's.
Thank you.
Absolutely
square.
Wendy's.
They're
Who
square.
cares?
You know why they're square? Because they don't cut corners, Tyler.
God,
that is a fact from Dave Thomas himself. No,
Maybe.
I'm spinning facts. I'm spinning. Google it. That's why they're square, because they don't cut corners. Dave Thomas, genius. Did you know that the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken was pivotal in the founding of Wendy's?
Okay.
Why? Because he took all the chickens?
No, the Colonel talked to Dave Thomas and like told him he should do a burger place, and he did it.
Yeah, because he didn't
And
want
he helped
competition. It was a smart move.
Yeah.
Did you know that Kentucky Fried Chicken started in a small gas station?
That's cool.
And it
I'm
still
spitting
does.
facts. You want food facts? I'm your guy.
It is still
I used to be a fat kid. I
It is
still am.
still cooked in a gas station, pretty much.
That's very true. All right, so we're gonna move on, but before we do, I wanted to give a shout out to our longest standing sponsor, the awesome team at Trophy Smack, who maybe eventually they'll fly us out to their headquarters in LA and we can party like rock stars. Because I've seen the bowling alley, I've seen the Scott Fishbowl draft there, and now I want to be there. You know what? I think we were one of their first podcasts that they sponsored. So, just
Nobody forgets their first.
Pop the cherry.
nobody forgets their first. That is true. So make sure you go to Trophy Smack. They have everything you need from a trophy perspective to upgrade your league. Whether you're playing football, hockey's coming, basketball's coming, baseball's just wrapping up now. Congrats to Albert Pujols for hitting over 700 home runs in his career. Did you know in his first at-bat at Busch Stadium as a rookie, he hit a home run? And his last at-bat at Busch Stadium today, he hit a home run. That's
Who's that?
crazy. So Albert Pujols.
Oh, yeah. 702, 701.
Yeah, 702, I think. So, yeah, awesome for him. So if you play fantasy baseball and you're looking for a trophy for your league, head on over to Trophy Smack. You want to do a completely customizable tribute to Aaron Judge or Albert Pujols belt or Shohei Ohtani or whoever helped you win your league, you can do that. They have the right trophy for you. Use code DHHRING and get a free $60 championship ring with the purchase of a trophy or belt. And this isn't a cheap ring. It's a really nice heavy-duty ring that you can feel a lot of pride and show it off like Tyler does about our championship in Trade Addict 7 last year. They also have stuff for the losers of the league. So the rest of those Trade Addicts guys, you can get a toilet seat. You can get a piece of plastic poop, whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, use code DHHRING to get that free ring at the checkout. All right, boys. So what are we ordering for drinks before we talk about football? What's your favorite drink, Tyler?
And everything.
Alcoholic.
Oh,
This is the happy hour after all.
I would say mojito.
Remember, this is the first podcast with happy hour in its title. There are now 3.
Okay, shots fired.
We are the first.
Shots
and
fired.
the original. We may not be the biggest, Matthew Berry. And, Roto Underworld's there too. They're doing their thing, whatever. But we are the first. So give me your drink of choice tonight, Tyler. What you would be drinking if we were at a bar. You'd be a mojito. Okay. I respect that.
It doesn't matter what flavor, but it has to have fresh mint. Makes all the difference.
Nice.
Fresh mint.
Corey, what's your drink of choice?
I'm just boring and I just stick to like a local
Bud Light
beer that they have.
What's local to you? Where are you from?
I am in the Southwest Michigan area. I actually have Bell's in the backyard, and then Founders is about 45 minutes away.
Okay, I've had Founders before. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's good
Shout
stuff.
out Grand Rapids.
Nice.
And then you, Doug, what are you ordering?
I'm a rum guy. So I'm kind of in the mood for like a rum runner. I am kind of like a fruity drink guy. Like I don't like a scotch. Ugh, I'm not sophisticated.
151 rum.
I'll take 151.
Oh
I'm
my
a Sailor Jerry is my jam though.
Shouts to
So because it's fall, I would take a
pumpkin spice rum.
Nope. Sailor Jerry with some apple cider.
Oh, nice.
Kraken is very good.
That's
for
the
rum.
drink right now for the fall. And once it gets to Christmas, it's eggnog and Sailor Jerry.
Eggnog is great.
Boom.
I've
never had eggnog.
Have it with some Sailor Jerry, stir it up, put a little cinnamon on the top. Heaven.
Eggnog on its own is fantastic. Why not get a little tipsy while having some?
All right, so we want to just talk about football. So I'm gonna let you kick us off, Tyler. Like, let's talk shop.
First of all, let's talk about the Thursday game. We'll start there. The Tua.
We don't want to
injury.
go game by game.
I know. I just want so we don't forget about it. So we don't forget about it. I know this is you kind of want to forget about it, but I watched it and I was really grossed out. That's what I'll bring up. The Tua head injury, and they're sitting there like, "Oh no, we did everything right," but yet you fired the off-site physician that did the whole thing. Like, there's something going on here, and if Dolphins are in another scandal, this is going to be a rough sledding for all parties, and it's going to be gross. That's all I'm going to say about it. Other than that, this offense, I didn't think it would run much differently without Tua. It does. Like, Tua is that much better than Teddy, which says a lot to me because at first I'm like, Tua's not great, but Tua is this offense. This offense needs Tua to actually roll, and I was shocked by that, and that actually made me be higher on Tua after all this. I do think he'll come back and play again. I don't think this will be a long-term injury, but it's like to watch. But I was actually coming away with it like, wow, Tua is actually very good, and this offense needs him.
What do you think about the Mostert and Edmonds split, Corey?
Yeah, what do I think about it? I think that the 2023 rookie running back is going to look really good on this Miami Dolphins team.
Is this an evergreen tweet type thing? Like we say this every year. Javante's the guy. He's gonna be there.
I'm just saying, man. I don't know. Mostert and Edmonds is cool. They're obviously just not getting the job done. We all wanted Edmonds to be a potential RB1, especially in this offense. But maybe at the end of the day, when you just don't have the necessary talents surrounding the system, you need to find other ways, like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle pretty much taking the system over.
Is T. Higgins just as good as Jamar Chase?
We're
not giving him enough.
I've been saying T. Higgins is going to outscore Jamar Chase this year.
If you look at the splits last year, the last 7 or 8 games of the year with T and Jamar Chase, look at the Super Bowl. Like Chase had a great Super Bowl.
So good.
Higgins scored twice. Like if you look at fantasy points, the times that they played together over the last 10 points, it's pretty close. I think maybe
Higgins is winning.
I was gonna say I think Higgins might have him a little bit. So
in
I think
receptions, yards, points.
Yeah, so I think Higgins is one of those guys. Someone just offered me a trade for my Higgins in UDPL this week, and I was like,
no,
I can't. Like I like DeAndre Swift, but I'm not going to give up Higgins in a second for him.
No.
Even straight up would be very skeptical because we've all seen
Swift
running backs value can literally fall off insanely quick, and that's why if I'm rebuilding, or even if I'm in a team where I have this stud receiver in T. Higgins, and I get offered a guy like Swift, I love Swift. I absolutely love him. And I actually trade away in a team today. Like I made a deal to get Chris Olave, a pick, and Tyler Algier just because I want my team to have these stud receivers where I'm confident
you can get 10 years out of a guy.
Yeah, and where I'm confident, like 15 points. If I've got a number one receiver,
Higgins could have a career like Mike Evans.
Yeah, 100%, and
maybe even better because Evans is good, but T. Higgins is much more of a playmaker after the catch than Evans.
Yeah, and we've seen this year, like if you've got these Devin Singletary type running backs, you can get by, but these receivers, if they're scoring you 25 points a week, you're gonna dominate your week. So that to me, this year especially, has been really eye-opening. Doug, I've kind of shifted away from running backs in Dynasty big time, and I'm kind of just really holding on to that. I'll draft them because their value is almost locked in, but after that, I will definitely trade them away.
Yeah, I'm regretting, when I was trying to make that trade with Memphis to move Harris, Najee, and a couple pieces to get Jefferson, and I was really close. I should have just added a little extra to get it done.
You should have tagged me in. Tag me in the DM. I could have gotten it done for you.
Yeah.
It definitely seems there's a weird thing going on in dynasty startups where you're prioritizing the receivers over the running backs, but in rookie drafts, the running backs are prioritized somewhat first. So when is like that switch going to happen in rookie drafts where you're going to prioritize the receivers or maybe the tight ends before the running backs?
It won't happen next year because I'll tell you what. Next
year.
With Bijan,
the receiver class is like if you need a receiver, trade your 23 pick for a receiver right now.
This may sound
class.
I just thought of this and it may sound silly, but I think the reason why running backs is because there's not as many of them. And I think we're almost to the point where tight end, right? If you have a stud tight end, you have a clear advantage from week to week. If you hit on a rookie running back that's going to carry the ball 20 times, that's a big advantage in today's NFL. Like there's only a few of those guys left. I mean, you saw it today. It's Taylor who had 20 carries, Derrick Henry, and maybe a couple of other guys. I mean, we saw Sanders have like a career high in carries today, and Josh Jacobs. We were winding the clock back a couple of years. So those guys, and that's not an every week thing. On any given week, you may have 4 guys with over 20 carries. It's usually Nick Chubb. So if you can get that, and if they're in a decent offense or they're a really good player, it is a big advantage. And I think still people are going to, it's hard to break old habits, right? We're so ingrained that running backs are important. That used to be the NFL. Remember when they'd go over the 100-yard rushers and there used to be 10 of them. Now there's 2 or 3 every week. Is not Chubb. As many as there used to be. So I think it's one of those things that it's a habit that people are having a hard time breaking because they still want to believe in a way that it's always been. When you look at it and you look at all the receiver performances, receivers are out producing running backs on an average every week and more consistently than running backs are. So I don't think it'll be next year's class because of the talent coming in, but it's something that I am being more cognizant of because I used to lean like, oh, running back until like last year. I was like, oh, I could take this guy or I could take Jamar Chase at 105 in a super flex. And I took Chase because it's something that I've been trying to do differently.
Yeah. The 2024 class, I think, will be more of a switch because you're going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. come in, who I think is elite. And there'll be other younger guys coming in. The receivers in college, though, it just seems like I'm going to go from example Big Ten. They're all about running and defense. Like the defensive players are getting stronger and faster, which is making it harder for running backs. And now, like especially with the rules in the NFL, wide receivers are winning very easily, and running backs are just getting stuffed behind the line. Because even offensive linemen aren't progressing as quickly.
There's a lot of bad offensive lines in the league.
Yeah, like all these stud guys we all thought were going to be good, even this year's class, like Evan Neal, like they're not looking great, and that's a struggle with it. But yeah, I mean, anything else about the Cincy game? Joe Mixon, we're trading, right? We're all agreeing we should try to trade him.
The usage is great. I think he'll still be fine.
Okay.
For Joe Mixon, I mean, you're going to sell him low at this point. I think the usage is good. I think he'll end up being fine. They're using him more in the pass game than they have in the past. I think he's one of those players where it's not going to surprise me in a week or two if he turns it around and he's a consistent, 100-yard from scrimmage guy and scoring a touchdown every week.
All right, I'm going to bring up Kenny Pickett because he played today. I watched a lot of his game because I am a Kenny Pickett believer. I do believe he is good. Kenny Pickett looked great. He threw 3 picks. Now, I want to tell you what. One pick was on the Hail Mary.
They weren't all on him.
The other pick that he threw was a deep play. Chase Claypool got his hand on. Should have caught it, but Claypool has stung. And the other one was a drop by either Claypool or George Pickens that went right through his hands, and it slid right to the defender. All 3 interceptions were not on Pickett, but Pickett was 10 for 13. Like, just coming in cold, did not realize he was going to start, and Tomlin said, okay, I'm done. Like, Tomlin saw Trubisky play, and it was like, nothing. He brought so much energy in that game, and I did not.
Their offense was dead until they brought him in.
And then they brought him in, and Pickens, here he is.
100 yards.
100 yards, 6 catches. Like, Pickens is an elite receiver. And what have we been saying, Doug, on here? Once Pickett comes in, Pickens is going to dominate.
They got that rapport.
They got the rapport. And why not? Hey, this dude over here is 6'3", 205 pounds, and can leap out of the building, super athletic, and has that dog my ball mentality. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give him the ball. Like, Deontay's a fine player. He's good. I don't think he's got those elite traits. It was all volume. So for me, Pickens, I think, is going to be.
I disagree on Deontay. I think he's a damn good football player. I think he just barely missed a touchdown today.
Yeah.
I was really when we talk about tight ends and we talk about usage and target percentage, Pat Freiermuth,
stud,
absolute stud. His target percentage is over 20% on the season. I love to see it. Even with Trubisky and moving to Pickett, it doesn't matter. Freiermuth is very, very good. And I remember.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring this up.
I remember when you were like, oh, Kyle Pitts. And I said, oh, Kyle Pitts went for $600 in an auction. I got Freiermuth for $60 at 10% of the cost. And I said, I would not be surprised at the end of their careers if Pat Freiermuth had a better career than Kyle Pitts did. And I know it's early, but I love to bring this up because you are so drooling from the mouth about Kyle Pitts.
I still am. Like,
I know you are.
And the thing is,
it's coming. I know it.
That's not the only thing that's coming for Atlanta. Ritter is coming very soon. Mariota played like balls. He wanted to give the Browns the win. Like, he was trying, it seemed, to give them the win. There was a couple dropped interceptions. He threw a pick to Ward, and then he fumbled. And thank God his athleticism saved him because he picked it back up and threw it away to save them. But man, I think Mariota was 7 for 19. Mm-hmm. It was not good at all.
I got cute and started him over Russell Wilson in our comic book league.
He looked terrible, and this offense is rolling. That's the thing. This offense looks awesome. They just need a little more oomph from that. They need a
guy like Calvin Ridley. Oh, damn it.
Hey, next year.
Next year.
But
trade him.
I hope so. But
To the Patriots.
The thing is,
Everyone says that.
The thing is,
We don't need him.
Is Ritter in this offense will be just like Pickett. Everybody's like, "Oh, Mariota's good." Once Ritter comes in, the whole
They'll
team's
forget
going to
about
be
it.
behind. Yeah, the whole team will be behind him. It'll bring energy. Like I said, Tyler Algier showed life today. 10
Hey, he
for
looked good.
80, 10 for 84, I think, and then caught one pass for 20.
Mhm.
Like Algier looks spry, which
Yeah, Atlanta's offense was in it, and Drake London didn't do anything today.
Or Pitts.
no,
or Pitts.
London
Yeah.
had a play that he had a big catch and was called back due to a face mask. Like he had a big play that was called back. Pitts, he got hit. Mariota threw it behind him a bunch of times. Like Mariota was off on Pitts, but Pitts, they just need to keep feeding him the ball. I know London, I think, got 7 targets. Pitts, I want to say 4 or 5. 4. But yeah, I love the look at this offense. Arthur Smith has done a great job with a lot of stuff.
He sucks,
But
dude.
I
I'm just down bad.
I just don't think he does. Like, you take this group of
I'm just
guys
down.
and put him in Chicago. Chicago wouldn't score any points.
Chicago.
You put Fields with Arthur Smith. Fields will look like an all-pro, I think.
I'm just sad, man, because Kyle Pitts has not done anything
He's had one game.
besides block.
My issue is in the red zone. Every time I see him on the sideline in the red zone when they're from the 5, why is Kyle Pitts not in? Why is this guy that is a huge difference maker not in?
6'6".
And Arthur Smith, I'll give it a little time when Arthur Smith gets a call from our owner. You know, the old ass up there in the booth, and hey,
Kicking him out of here.
no, either you play him or we'll have a talk. And I'm pretty sure nobody wants to talk to him. But yeah, this Atlanta team, I think Ritter, if you don't have Ritter and you're kind of looking for a cheaper quarterback buy, a thrift shop buy where you could maybe get something and then go to American Pickers and sell it for a lot more, this would be the guy, Desmond Ritter, because you saw what happened to Pickett. Pickett's price just shot up. Now Ritter's going to do the same thing in, I would say, 2 more weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Corey, what do you got from today?
Oh, of everything. I mean, Damien Pierce looks like he has the full trust of the Houston Texans. He's got
6 passes for 8 yards, I think.
He's
Hey,
still
the work is good.
got 6 receptions if you're in a PPR league, baby. But he's
Or the
getting the
James Cook.
touches. It's pretty cool to see. I mean, I'm taking a big L on him, but I'm happy to see that he is worked out for his NFL career here through week 4 and every week just getting a little bit better.
Yeah, the Chargers almost chargered again. They were up a bunch in that game, and then Houston started to crawl back. It was nice to see Brandon Cook score fantasy points again.
Speaking of
Nico.
speaking of
decent
game.
rookies,
Big.
speaking
Oh,
of rookies
that's not a
that like Damien Pierce, how you took a big L on. My
Yep.
big L would be on Chris Olave.
Yep.
I did not believe he could be a true alpha receiver. I
Chris
watched all
Olave.
that game. I watched all that game in London.
Flores
in London.
Olave.
But nice. I like that. But he demanded targets, and when he was playing, and they're without Michael Thomas, you kind of expect the ball to go to him, which a true elite receiver, an alpha, would demand, and that's what I saw. He created
7
separation. He another
targets.
big fantasy day. I think he was like 16 some points. But yeah, the Olave is the future one there.
Yeah, he had a beautiful play late in the game where it looks like it was the target was for another receiver, and you can see Olave come out of freaking nowhere to catch it on the sideline. I was like, whoa! It was just weird because he came out of out of the picture and then in the picture, and I was like, oh damn, yeah. Olave's he's played really really well. It'd be interesting because he had all the air yards, so you could see the breakout coming, which happened last week, so you could feel it coming, and we talked about that with Treyland Berks earlier. It'll be interesting because Jameis and Andy Dalton obviously have a different mentality. Jameis is like, I'll throw the deep ball and don't care, YOLO ball, right? Like the old Ryan Fitzpatrick. And once Michael Thomas is healthy, I think that'll only help Olave because he's a really crisp route runner and he can do a lot of different things. But when we talk big plays and a weekly winner, Olave has that potential to pop off, kind of like Amari Cooper used to. And he still does, but Amari Cooper used to have those huge games, 8 for 160 and a touchdown. And then next week it was 2 for 30. So there may be I'm hoping Olave is a little bit more consistent. instead of up and down. And I could see that being in his skill set, especially with Jameis at quarterback. I want to talk about Josh Jacobs. So obviously Las Vegas finally getting a win. They were 0-3 going into this week.
Wow.
Josh McDaniels had his one-on-one with the haircut himself, Mark Davis, which had to be so awkward.
What do you think? A little more off the sides?
So
or...
Josh, I didn't bring you in here to be 0-3. We went to the playoffs last year. And Bill Belichick's like, I hope you suck, McDaniels, because you can come back as the OC and the Raiders will be paying your salary because that's what the Pats do. Anywho, so Josh Jacobs ran maybe some of the best football I've ever seen him play today. He looked great. He was getting through small spaces. His shiftiness was good. He looked like he was just super fresh and healthy.
Alabama, Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs looked great today. He had 2 touchdowns. He had over 25 carries. He was really their offense today. I mean, I know Devontae ended up with 100 yards, but other than that, Matt Collins was a thing last week. He's your suntan guy or your spray tan guy from last week, and we'll get into that more next week. And Darren Waller continues to disappoint. I'm concerned with Darren Waller because, the team paid him big money. They restructured his contract. They made him a top 5 paid tight end, but his usage has been doo-doo. Like so far, it's been all Devontae in the passing game with no Renfro, and Waller hasn't done much of anything. But I think that everyone's fears about Josh Jacobs going into the season, everyone had him as a sell, right? They're like, they're going to split the backfield. They drafted Zamir White, but they have committed to Josh Jacobs. So if you went out and bought Josh Jacobs in the offseason or you held, I think that looking at it now with his usage through the season was a really smart move. And he looks great. So, and I think Josh Jacobs is one of those guys where he gets like, he's injury prone. He doesn't miss a lot of games. Does he get dinged up? Yes, he does. Kind of like Lamar Miller. He'll miss a series or 2 and then he'll be fine. But Josh Jacobs, man, I loved what I saw today. And I think I only roster him in one league, and on that same roster, my only 2 starting running backs were Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs. So I was partying with my pants off today. It was amazing.
Partying like it's 2019, I think was their draft class. Let's go on the other side of the ball and talk about the Broncos.
18. Ugh. It was 18.
The Broncos, not great. Like Russ looks cooked. And I would say I'd compare the 2 quarterbacks the same. Russ, they had him ranked at like quarterback 9 or so, and Carr was quarterback 15 or so. I would put them a lot closer now than we think. I think they're the quarterbacks where you try to make them look good for prom, like, oh, we'll take off the glasses. Nope, nothing's helping these. They're not going to win prom queen.
We'll put a nice handkerchief in your pocket, pocket square, see if that jazzes it up.
Nope, no. It's not. And Russ, I don't know if it's Hackett or Russ, but from what I'm hearing from Cecil Lammey is Russ needs to grow a pair and just do what he does, because Peyton with Adam Gase, Peyton with Adam Gase did his own thing. Peyton was the offensive coordinator. So Russ needs to kind of be like, I'm sorry, Hackett, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna make plays and just improv. That's what he needs to do. But they're not letting him do it, and Russ is kind of just being like, oh, thank you for the money. I will do what I'm told.
Yeah, I think that obviously we looked at the AFC West, right? And we were like, man, this division is going to be a series of shootouts. There's going to be fantasy goodness all over the place. Not really. Not so far. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are having a nice night tonight. But when you look at the Raiders have been disappointing as a team and from a scoring standpoint. We look at Denver, like we all thought we were going to get massive seasons out of Sutton, and he scored today, which was nice. Judy, Albert Okwuegbunam.
Nothing.
Albert, OMG, where is
Albert, he? Oh my God, yeah.
I would say if you're smart, I'm going to give shout out to James. If you're a savvy dynasty owner,
here it is. Yep.
Try and go get Greg Dulcich, because Albert O ain't it. He only did he run one route today?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm dropping him right now.
I think I saw one route is what he ran. They were starting Eric Seibert, Atlanta Falcon legend, former Patriot practice squatter, was getting more work than Albert Okwuegbunam. I don't know what the deal is there. Very, very interesting. But try and go and get Greg Dulcich if you can. He's on IR now, but he should be back.
Next week.
He's an athlete. He could be a little extra oomph in this offense. 100%.
I'm about to go drop him for Daniel Bellinger.
Yeah, my guy, Bellinger.
Yes. Yeah, he looks like.
So hopefully no one's watching.
I mean, do we want to talk about anything about this game and how god awful Fields isn't it. Are we all agreeing Fields is not right for
No,
this team?
my heart says no, man, but my head says yes.
I think the situation is just bad.
I agree. I think he's a fine player, and he can grow better in a different situation. Like I said, with Atlanta, he would be an upgrade to Mariota right now, and it would be a better situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's just the fact that this team has shown everything possible that, I'm sorry, you're not our guy. We're going to find our guy next year. And, I mean, this could be a Josh Rosen situation where it's just like, oh, we'll trade you for a second next year. Maybe probably even a third, and then we'll see what happens. But it's sad almost.
Yeah, you hate to see it, man. I mean, the talent's there, but it just needs to be developed and exploited out. So
his accuracy is really bad. I will say that
good deep ball.
I mean, because he's always running for his life.
That deep ball to Mooney was great. Like
Great
it was perfect.
Yeah, it's a great
good
catch.
But I mean, his accuracy, anything closer than 30 yards, from 30 yards or closer.
Just remember, we said the same thing about Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. So I think there's still a chance for Justin Fields if he gets with the right. I think he just needs to be. I would love to say the coaching staff that's there now, like they showed in the offseason that they didn't invest anything in the offense. They didn't invest anything on the offensive line. They didn't invest anything for playmakers. If anything, they let Allen Robinson go, which is fine. He might be washed. But like they didn't add, they pretty much got like all your dynasty cast-offs from years ago. Equinemius St. Brown, Dante Pettis, Byron Pringle. These are guys that you rostered in like 28-man leagues. Like that's what they did for him. They relied on Mooney and Kmet, and Kmet's he hasn't done anything, which hurts my heart because I love Cole Kmet.
He has been open a good amount.
I mean, luckily they got Khalil Herbert on that team.
Yeah,
because I love Khalil Herbert.
He's the future.
Tyler.
He's the future. And here's what I think they should do. Fields, get traded to Minnesota for a second or third next year.
In division?
I mean, Minnesota traded.
Well, Chicago doesn't care. They're not going to be competitive.
Chicago does not care. Go to Minnesota because I will tell you what, Kirk Cousins did not look great today. It did not look pretty for him.
There was MVP chatter about Cousins before the season, and
yeah, there was Super Bowl chatter about Minnesota.
For sure.
Hey, at least Jefferson came back to like
believe in your city.
Jefferson
came back because it was like the first quarter and he was nowhere. Milk carton, and he caught 3 passes in a row, and finally Kirk's like, "Huh,
maybe I should throw to this guy."
And also Jefferson finally spoke up because once again in the red zone, Kirk Cousins is glued to Adam Thielen. And a play didn't work when he was going to Adam Thielen. And Jefferson was wide open in the back corner of the end zone. And Jefferson finally lost it on Cousins a little bit. Was like jumping around, getting upset, and said something. Like, that's what he needed to do. And the rest of the game was like, okay, Jefferson, here you go. And look, it works. And Dalvin Cook, never take off the shoulder brace. Why would you? They said during the game that he took it off because he felt comfortable that he was strong enough, but he's going to wear it the rest of the season.
Strong enough to have continuous shoulder problems, but whatever.
He said he's going to wear it the rest of the season and possibly longer than that. Why not? Why not?
Right.
I mean, if it's
or just
not
get surgery in the offseason, I don't know.
I mean, for me, it's like,
I mean, their season will be over in end of December, so
yeah, who knows?
Sorry.
But all right, who else are we going to talk about? The Lions and Seahawks and how
that was a fun game.
The 2 best fantasy football quarterbacks right now played in this game.
I'll go over Detroit. So, no Amon-Ra, no DeAndre Swift, no G.J. Chark. I picked up Josh Reynolds in a couple of redraft leagues because I know him and Goff, and it paid off. He was a top. I think he was
touchdown.
I think he was a wide receiver 1 this week so far. Jamal Williams was the chalk play in DFS. He paid off. Rashad Penny had a great game. He popped off against Detroit last year in the playoffs and helped people win leagues. But yeah, Goff looked good. TJ Hawkinson, it was nice seeing him.
He looked amazing.
He did look amazing. And I was against him in a league, but I also started him. I did a late swap. I took out Russell Gage. I put in Hawkinson, and it paid off huge. So I had to watch Hawkinson hurt me. And then obviously, that's the thing. When you play in too many leagues, this happens all the time. But Hawkinson looked what we've always wanted Hawkinson to be, and he's probably been one of the more frustrating dynasty assets in his career through the first 4 years. So you love to see that. And Goff played well. He only had 1 turnover. So I thought the Lions, they play the Patriots next week. It's not going to stop. The Pats defense, they did play well against Green Bay today. But I think that Detroit is going to be fantasy goodness, even without Swift and Amon-Ra. Now, obviously, it'll be better with those 2 guys in there because they're both elite talents. And by the way, Amon-Ra is up to the wide receiver 4 in startups.
Yeah, jaw
Insane.
drop.
Insane. I love Amon-Ra as much as the next guy, but
why?
Sheesh.
It makes no sense to me.
It's bonkers.
And
they're prisoners of the moment. Let's be honest.
Can I say something? I do think Goff has found a home.
They're not losing because of him.
They are not losing because of him.
The defense.
100% Goff fits perfect in this offense. He is the perfect play in this offense. And honestly, if they were to try to, quote unquote, upgrade like the 49ers did with Trey Lance, trying to get like a more mobile quarterback, I don't think this offense would thrive. Goff needs to play action, and this team runs the ball so well behind this offensive line.
Yep.
Why not keep this salary, pay your offensive linemen when they're coming up, and just roll with Goff at 25, 30 mil a year? That is the play.
He's still under contract for 2 more years at $20 million.
Yeah, and
which is affordable in the market.
100%. Like, why not do that? Because you're gonna have they played Ragnow, they paid him. Decker, is he? I think they paid him, but there's gonna be some players coming off.
Yeah,
they
got
books.
Sewell for another few years.
Swift.
As a first-rounder.
Swift. I mean, if he holds up, I love Swift like we talked about, but his injuries are racking up. Like, he's missing a lot of time.
And we're watching the Detroit Lions score a bunch of points, and they haven't even seen Jamison Williams touch the field yet.
Oh my God, that is the buy. That is the buy.
We're seeing all these other rookie first rounders, with the exception of Berks, although there were some encouraging statistics there.
Yeah.
We're seeing all these other first round guys pop in the first 4 weeks, off and on, and looking encouraging. Jamison Williams in that offense, I like that quite a bit. If they can work on they needed a stop on third down, and Rashad Penny ran it, and the effort that's not the effort. I don't want to say it's the effort, but they got that first down so easily. I was like, oh, this defense, like, it's the defense is the problem. The offense can put up points against anyone. But Seattle, Geno.
Let's talk about Geno upgrade.
What a revelation!
He's better than Russ.
Oh,
statistically,
it's not
absolutely.
it's not even close. And I think they have a better record than the Broncos. No, the Broncos I think are 2-2.
They're 2-2 now, yeah.
But not pretty 2-2. The Seahawks have a pretty 2-2. Like, they have shown us. We thought these guys would be in the mix for the first overall pick.
We thought they were going to be bad.
Yeah, and honestly, could you see the Broncos pick being earlier than the Seattle Seahawks pick?
Probably.
They have the Broncos pick, and especially if they lost Javonte. These 2 tackles they drafted I think their PFF grades are top. Like, they're very,
Cross
very
is
good.
very good.
And the 3rd round pick is one of the best right tackles in the game right now. Like, they are building in the trenches like they did before. Geno's getting time like he didn't with the Jets. And, I mean, we should talk about the Jets quarterback now and how much of a poo-poo he is. But, Geno's getting time to throw. He's got weapons. Like, DK, took a dump all over the Lions today.
And Lockett's still giving you solid production.
Yeah,
we thought he would do nothing. It's just, it's interesting. They use the tight ends in that offense. We see Disley, Parkinson, Fant, except for Fant.
He got a touchdown. Do you think he's on the sideline? Like, he saw Hawkinson go off, and he's like, please, Pete, please.
And now George Kittle's like, Monday night, Iowa tight end.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's my turn. Tight end university.
That's Clark.
I am trying to, with this game, with Rashad Penny popping off, in leagues that I don't own Ken Walker, I am maybe making some offers for Ken Walker, because it's just a matter, we all know, it's just a matter of time before Rashad Penny gets hurt. And then it's wheels up for Ken Walker, because Travis Homer's on IR. We know DJ Dallas ain't it. So I love Ken Walker. I've held him in a couple of redraft leagues because I know the day's coming. where I don't want to have to blow a bunch of fab to pick him up. I want to have him on my roster already. Because I know the Penny is like this team is run blocking pretty well. So it's just a matter of time before Walker, takes over when Penny gets hurt. So.
Yeah. Penny, he looked all right. He had open holes to run through. He didn't really look shifty, but we all know who Penny is. He's a guy who finds a hole, straight line runner.
He's a bowling ball. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not gonna. He's Tevin Coleman.
He's not gonna juke anybody. Yeah.
He's Tevin Coleman with 20 extra pounds.
That's completely fair. Absolutely.
But man, talking about Jameson Williams, that is the buy. Like that's it. That's what you need to do.
100%.
All right. I do want to go over a couple more. Nick Chubb is very good. I just want to mention that. I just saw that.
He continues to be elite.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so good.
Oh, wow.
The Cardinals versus Panthers. Let's talk about how bad these teams look.
So the Cardinals. I'll just real quick. The Cardinals in the first half of this year, all their games are the worst team in the NFL offensively. They make it all up in the second half. It's crazy. Go ahead, Corey.
No, I was just going to be noting on just how Cliff needs to go.
Yes.
For sure.
Stiff
For
Kingsbury.
Sure. Him and Murray, they got in an altercation on the sideline too.
Good.
It was reported at least. Just this play calling was horrible. I mean, Rondale Moore came back. He had 3 receptions for 11 yards. I don't know.
As
what's
Greg
going on.
George is getting down the field targets when he's gone. It makes no sense to me. Like, hey, I've got this elite player in Rondale Moore who I drafted in the second round. I'm actually going to use.
They
Greg
also
George.
drafted Andy Isabella in the second round.
And Christian Kirk.
And
we see what happens after 5 years.
Yeah, maybe if Rondale Moore can move on, here we go.
Yeah, see, that's the dynasty buy.
But for me, I agree. This is all Cliff. Because Kyler, when he's kind of in that stubborn, screw it, I'm going, he's good. He produces in fantasy. He had 12 rushes finally. He was using his legs. It's Cliff that's holding him back. It's obvious.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't know what their defense is doing, but offensively, Brown and Ertz, Ertz is at least being pretty quiet, having a nice productive season, and Brown has been just getting 3 straight target games over 10. So I'm going to be curious in week 7 or whatever when
Hopkins
comes back.
He is I'm telling you, once Hopkins was out last year, he is the cog in the machine that makes it go.
We all hope so because this offense needs a boost. Also, the J.J. Watt news, scary as hell.
He's like, I'm playing, no big deal.
Like the dude's heart was just out of rhythm.
He was
out of
dead,
sorts.
literally for a little bit because that's what they got to do to you.
Yeah, and that's scary. Like that's scary to think about. Like the dude's laying there, gets up. All right, where are we at in practice?
Yeah. Back to work.
There was the evil part of me thought that like there was no story leak and he just said it himself to get attention because that's kind of what he does a little bit. So, anywho.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it until he said something. So.
Yeah, that was like the evil part of me. It was like, is this just a look at me? Because
everybody's paying attention to my brother.
But still,
this is bullshit.
Happy to hear he's okay though.
Yes, 100%. Because there's 2 things that scare the crap out of me. It's your brain and your heart. And something that happens to those 2 things is like instant. Boom, you're done. And that's scary to think about. But, whew. The Panthers. It's Sam Darnold when he comes back, right? It has to be, right?
They got to give him a try. I wish the rookie quarterback was not injured.
9 batted passes against Baker today.
Really?
9.
Okay. At least DJ Moore top 50 yards, and that was 50 yards exactly for the first time this season.
McCaffrey finally got McCaffrey volume, but he can't run the ball.
Did you see the touchdown where he was literally running from like the 15-yard line with his hand in the air to Baker to like throw it to me? And Baker threw it to him and he caught it.
No.
And thank God McCaffrey caught it in like triple coverage. But he had to like put his hand up for Baker to like, yo, I'm open. I just torched this linebacker. It was one of those things where I was like, Baker just ain't it.
No,
he's not it.
No.
And Matt Rule, he needs to be the first coach out of here. He always looks like they showed him on the sideline like 5 times. It always looks like he's sniffing farts. He's like on the sideline the whole time. He's like Pete Carroll chewing gum, but he's sniffing farts.
You don't know why? Because he's a shitty coach.
Because he stinks.
And he stinks. And that smell is you, buddy. It's you.
Yeah, him shitting his pants in games.
Ugh.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, he's going full DK, but not taking the cart. He's just standing
my.
there.
Ugh.
He signed a 7-year contract.
Yeah, and he has control.
7 years.
He's doing a good job with this defense. If it is him, like this defense is good.
Oh, the defense
their
is very
pieces.
good. They're
This
not allowing a
offense-
ton of points. They're not allowing huge plays. Like they've
It
been in
wasn't-
games, but it's not
yeah.
because of the offense.
It wasn't until
At this point,
Shin got hurt.
give Terrace Marshall a shot, will ya? Like, please. Like he's better than what you have. Robbie Anderson has one big game and he doesn't do anything. Like,
I haven't said it for almost a year, but I'm excited for Sam Darnold to come back to maybe boost this offense.
When does he come back? He's out of walking boot 24 days ago, 4 to 6 weeks, August 26th. So do the math. Probably relatively soon.
soon.
Probably week 5. He's on IR. They can probably
That's
get him
next
off IR.
week.
Yeah, he can get him off IR week 5.
Their bye week's week 13, so that's probably too far to wait.
Yeah, it's got to be soon
What about
because
PJ Walker? Is he still there?
Baker's not it.
PJ Walker is still there, yes.
Oh, and PJ Walker ain't it.
He
Like,
No, but it's such a good story, though, at least.
yeah.
I mean, everybody loves those stories. I do want to talk about the Jets because we're talking about shitty quarterbacks. Zach Wilson.
He
all I
wasn't it.
heard on
Good
the
comeback
broadcast-
drive, though.
All I heard on the broadcast was Zach Wilson making really good throws. He looks very good today. And I'm watching the same game, and all I'm hearing from the other announcer is like, oh, that's an errant throw by Zach Wilson. Oh, that one was picked off. Ooh, that's a bad throw by Zach Wilson. Ooh, Zach Wilson missed an open receiver here. Like, it was Jekyll and Hyde of the announcers, and I'm sitting there watching the game, sitting there. He's not good. Like, Garrett Wilson, I thought was going to bust his knees up because Garrett Wilson had to turn back for a catch. He missed the catch, and Garrett Wilson was in the air, and I'm like, oh, God, here we go. This is going to suck. And he just doesn't lead anybody. And it's the same. I like Andy Dalton, but what I saw today was Andy Dalton fires him in. Like, he's like, I'm the red rifle, and he chucks him in from 10 yards. Zach Wilson's the same thing. He just chucks him in. He doesn't care how far you are. He's going to rifle them in. Be like, yeah, I got arm strength. I can throw it hard. Like, he's got no touch to it. All of his deep balls look like they're going to get picked off. It's not great. And he's hurting this whole offense. Breece Hall, that touchdown, was a man of a touchdown. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, Hall looked good. His usage was.
Yeah, outstanding.
He's going to turn into a stud here soon.
Yes.
I've been trying to get him.
He'll be a top 3 dynasty RB by the end
I
of
got
the
him from
year.
Tyler for James Cook. It was great.
That was in like July.
It doesn't make it any better, man.
You don't make it any better.
Oh,
It's a fun league. It's free. I just want my guy.
It's free.
Back off.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine.
But
I
yeah,
gave you a second round pick on that deal. It's fine.
but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And it's a 6-team league, so the second round's actually first.
Yeah, it's a bragging rights best ball. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this game, the fact that he came back, this is Zach Wilson to a T. He's so bad, but he shows the coaches and staff moments where it's like, well, we got to play this guy, right? And
Yeah.
oh man,
they're
like
getting
we were
fired,
so
too.
close to having Flacco back if he would have never had this game
With
winning
decent
drive.
quarterback play, this offense could be as fun as the Lions.
Yeah,
That's
I
fun.
agree.
I like that.
Think about it.
With Flacco,
I am
was
thinking
fun,
about it,
and
man. It's nice.
Flacco's-
I mean, minus
Flacco's-
Hawkinson, but Conklin's been nice.
Flacco's not a
He
good
has been.
quarterback, and Flacco made this offense fun to use in fantasy. Zach Wilson's back. You can't use anybody but Breece Hall now.
Corey Davis.
Hey, Elijah Moore had 53 yards, first time above 50.
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is 3 games over 10 points.
The
I know.
catch, Corey Davis saved
Depending on
Zach
your-
Wilson on that game-winning drive. Like,
He
he
did.
was literally on the ground
Conklin,
getting
not
the
bad.
ball.
Yeah.
How did
Oh,
Braxton
God.
do it? Oh, wait, Zach Wilson caught a touchdown.
He caught
He
a
did.
touchdown. They
Do
did
not
the-
forget that part of his game.
They did the Philly.
And he actually has now more touchdowns in New York than Kenny Galladay.
More receptions, probably, too.
More reception touchdowns in New
Also,
York.
I want to talk about how Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 6 carries and 1 catch and 2 touchdowns. The
He is
streak continues.
Touchdown dependent.
And a
Hilaire.
goal line carry.
He is
touchdown.
efficient with the touchdowns and the
Haters
sec-
are
oh my
hating.
God. I'm not on Corey.
He's
if you're-
outscoring Jonathan Taylor
What?
this year, that's for sure.
Isaiah Pacheco looks really good, busting off
what are you
5,
trying to
8-yard runs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Mahomes is Mahomes again.
He's
Brady's-
the best quarterback ever.
Brady's trying to keep up. apparently Mike Evans, we saw in the chat by a friend of ours, Damon, that
Had a
Mike
nice tutty.
Evans had.
He has 2 touchdowns today.
Yeah, Mike Evans.
How's Godwin doing?
I was up by like 20
3 for
to
30.
Pete in UDPL, and he has Mike Evans and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so I am done.
See you later.
I am done. It was fun.
And if you lost this week, there's still time next week. You can go on Underdog, check it out. You can download the app on the Google Play Store, the Apple Store. I actually played some Underdog this week. I did some of the prop bets, the over-unders, Jamal Williams versus Rashad Penny, who's going to have more rushing yards. Penny was the favorite by like 30. I picked Jamal, so I won on that one. I bet $5 to win 100. I hit 3 out of the 5, so I didn't win anything. But if I hit all 5, I could have made an easy $100. It's a really fun game to play. If you don't like the traditional like FanDuel, DraftKings, and you want to do more of like a prop bets, you can do that. You can also do quick drafts. I did one of those for the London game, Saints and Vikings. So you draft every offensive skill player except for quarterbacks is available. It's a 3-team draft, so you draft against 2 other people. You have a roster of 4 players. I did one of those. It was looking good when I had Madison and Mark Ingram score, but then whoever drafted Justin Jefferson ended up winning that one. But that was a lot of fun. So there's different ways to play DFS like you've never seen before on underdog.com. And right now, when you use code DHH and deposit up to $100, they will match it right away. So if you put 100, you get 200. Just take what you put in and double it. It's easy math. If you need help with it, you can at me and I'll help you with the math. It's free money for something you're going to play anyway. So check it out. And if you just want to play more than NFL, you can do MLB as well. And they'll have some different options for hockey and basketball, I believe, as well coming up. So once again, it's code DHH for your deposit up to $100 matched on Underdog.
I do have one more thing before we leave. We forgot it in the injury segment. Rashad Bateman did leave with in a walking boot, so we will have to see what happened there.
What was up with Mark Andrews today? Stinker.
What was up with Lamar Jackson? Honestly, the Philly game and the Bills game, weather, it sucked.
Yeah.
And I am turning into team.
Wasn't it sunny?
I'm turning into team dome. Put domes on all.
I should watch the game.
Team
Put domes on everything.
I'm team dome.
I am team dome too, bro. But
artificial, not artificial. I want real grass.
Real grass, artificial turf,
Yeah.
no good. I wonder if the NFL will eventually do that, just because it makes watching it fun, and that's what they want their viewership to have is fun.
No, because
they want money. That's all they care about.
Nostalgia. The Green Bay nostalgia, the winter
the
games.
Winter.
I did hear on the Pat McAfee show that Von Miller is creating. It's called like a super grass. It's a mix of artificial turf and real grass.
Marijuana.
Yeah. That might be how he found it. Like
everyone gets contact. Scoring's up 10%.
Yeah, a mix of real grass and artificial. It's just like pick a side, you know.
Injuries are lower because everybody feels great.
Yeah. I rolled my ankle. I don't feel a damn thing.
I don't feel anything. I feel great. I feel happy. You happy? I'm
running
happy.
around, his legs like flopping around left and right. Like I got it.
Everybody's shaking hands on
well,
the trenches.
Mike, I think that player might have a broken leg, but he's still out there. He's making plays.
Trey Lance would have just gotten up and started throwing passes again.
Oh my god!
The
safety thing's out the window.
Apparently, he figured out like this mix of the grasses, and it's a lot safer than the turf because there's an issue with turf.
It's made of pillows,
and there's issues with regular grass when the weather kicks in. But
cool. That's cool. Yeah. Good for the team that he hired to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a little bit of money to throw around.
He's also a good farmer.
Yeah, good for him.
I saw it on Cribs of the NFL or something.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. No, that's cool. Shout out to the nude grass.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
Nude grass?
The nude grass.
Doesn't matter. It could be a different color: green grass, nude grass, or
be like Boise State.
Your
Boise State.
Grass.
Let's just put red. It has to be the color of your team logos.
That'd be interesting.
Black grass.
All right, boys.
Purple.
If anybody has anything, it's like wrap this thing up, put a nice bow on it, and GTFOH. So that's what I say. So we're going to wrap it up on Dynasty Happy Hour. We'll be back next week with those fun segments that Tyler talked about. So for me, your host, Doug Eddy, for Corey Spala,
man. Thank you so much for saying that right, dude. I'm actually really happy now.
I make sure my pronunciations
really happy, dude.
are pretty good. I don't think Alfredo is Italian like Tyler does with some of our guests. Alfredo Brown. It must be
Oh,
Italian.
I was like chicken Alfredo's. I think it's Italian.
No, we had Alfredo Brown.
Alfredo's
He's
cool.
like, oh, you must be Italian. He's like, why? Because my name's Alfredo.
Didn't
and we made-
realize it was a first name thing, but you know what?
Yeah.
Doug
He's
is
a good guy.
Doug is German.
I'm mostly Greek. But
Nailed
okay. Nailed it. German, Greek. They both
Pick
begin with
something
G's.
white, and then you could just say it.
Yeah, one has gods, one has
S-
Hitler.
you're
Whatever. it's
Swedish.
fine. Swedish.
Scottish even.
Did
Tyler, are you Irish?
Last food fact. Did you know that Swedish fish are actually made in Canada?
No, dude, those are my favorite candies growing up, though.
That just
They are
ruined it.
good.
What about Sour Patch Kids? Do them.
Mm.
I don't have any stats on Sour Patch.
I'm
They're
not
just
into that type of thing, but if you are,
There's actual kids that were sour and bitter, and they just shrunk them down to candies. We've all seen what is it?
Sounds
What
like
is
a
that?
twisted Willy Wonka to me.
What is that fairy tale? The one where they went to the witch's house and then
Like
they
Hansel
ate-
and Gretel?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the big bad
Terrible
wolf,
movie, by the way.
Hansel.
3 Little Pigs.
Oh, Hansel. Yeah.
All right.
Let's go up. Let's go to get cooked by the grandma. Yeah. Anywho, that's going to wrap us up. For Doug, Corey,
This is a-
Tyler, we will see you next week on the Dynasty Happy Hour
This is a fantasy football podcast.
with Hansel and Gretel. Yeah.
It's at the end. Nobody will listen.
That's true.
Right?
They're already gone.
That was cool.